This is EBC Sports International. This week's stories. James Harden's historic 61-point performance at Madison Square Garden. Keith Thurman defends his WBA title at the Boxing League Champions event. Florida Tropics offer free tickets to government employees. Orlando SEAWOLVES hand Milwaukee Wave first road loss. Plus, tips on being a true football fan. Hello everyone, I'm Edwin Vergara bringing you sports news from around the globe. Harden ignites at the Garden. Reigning NBA MVP James Harden earns his special Madison Square Garden moment in historic fashion, dropping 61 points in the Houston Rockets' win over the New York Knicks last week. Here's Tenny Sumagi with more from the world's greatest arena. Take a look.
Madison Square Garden, the world's greatest arena, where every basketball player wishes to leave a legacy.
From the collegiate level, all the way to the NBA. There's no other place athletes would love to leave a legacy, no other than at basketball's Mecca. The Garden showcased many memorable moments from today's NBA players. Stephen Curry ignited for 54 points in 2013. Carmelo Anthony dropped 62 a year later, setting a New York Knicks franchise record for most points scored at the Garden. The King himself, LeBron James, performed not one, but two 50-point performances in the place in which he calls his playground. And on January 23, 2019, James Harden cemented his name in the Garden record books. The Beard unleashed for 61 points, all unassisted, as his Houston Rockets rallied to defeat the Knicks 114-110. Eric Gordon's three, followed by a costly turnover from the Knicks in the final seconds, secured the win for the Rockets. Harden, who scored his 61st point on the turnover, as fans watched in silence, but celebrated his defining Garden moment.
I mean, the guy's just good, you know. And sometimes it's a little hard for the other guys, you know, because he scores every time. And it's like, okay, don't get a layup and do something. I don't know what else you do, but we just got to be mentally tough and strong and enjoy what he's doing and picking your opportunities. And like Eric does a heck of a job. I don't know how many he had, like 20 or something like that, but he's been playing great. So just have to have mental toughness that, you know, he's going to score a lot and you might not touch it for a couple of times, but when it comes your way, you're going to have to do something with it.
The reigning NBA MVP tied Kobe Bryant's record for the most points scored from a visiting team player.
Is it special for you to tie the opponent's record here at Madison Square Garden for scoring?
Yeah, this is one of the historical buildings in the sport that we have. Obviously, the fans are one of the best that we have in this league, and so it's pretty cool to come out here and just put them on the show for them.
Houston now has won 9 straight games at the Garden. The last time the Knicks beat the Rockets was in 2009, when D'Antoni was then the head coach. For EBC Sports International, I am Tenny Sumagi, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Tenny. Across the borough over to Brooklyn, where boxing returns to the spotlight. Keith Thurman defends his WBA title at the premier Boxing League event. Norman Castro with the report. Take a look.
We are here at the Barclays Center, the home of Brooklyn boxing. Premier Boxing Champions returns with a championship bout. WBA welterweight world champion Keith Thurman defends his belt against Josecito Lopez. Let us see what the sweet science of boxing has in store here in Brooklyn. Local fighter and certainly the crowd favorite delivered an exciting knockout in the second round. Adam Konaki didn't leave it to the judge as he chased Gerald Washington to the ropes and rocked him with a right. Washington was able to get up, but it was short-lived as Konaki followed up with a flurry of punches and the referee saw enough to stop the fight. the main event also led to some exciting action. Coming off of a 22-month layoff, Keith Thurman looked to defend his welterweight title against a game opponent in Josecito Lopez. Early in the bout, it looked like ring rust wasn't a factor for Thurman, landing flurries and controlling the distance. In the second round, he caught Lopez with a counter left that dropped him to his knee. As the rounds continued, however, you could see that the pressure of Lopez was getting to Thurman. While Thurman still continued to land, the forward movement of Lopez and his high-risk wide shots paid dividends in the 7th round as he landed many significant strikes. Thurman, clearly dazed by the early shot in the round, looked to recover, but Lopez continued to pour on the punches. Thurman ended up surviving, but you can feel the momentum shift slightly in Lopez's favor. The next rounds were back and forth as Thurman would land the more precise punches, but Lopez definitely had the ring control and pressure. As the final bell rang signifying the end of the bout, both fighters felt confident in their performance and it was up to the judges' scorecards. Thurman edged out a majority decision over Lopez to regain his championship belt.
I thought I landed a lot of straight punches with the 1-2s and the jabbing, and I made a miss. He did have some nice connections. I could have kept my chin down a little better when he threw his straight right hand. My head was popping back. A lot of times I wasn't hurt. There was one round where I was obviously shooken up, but outside of that, I believe he dominated that one round and probably won 2 more rounds. And the other scorecards showed that. So at the end of the day, we're still here and we're still at the top.
Punches flew in the Barclays Center as Brooklyn Boxing and the Premier Boxing Champions showcased its World Championship talent. Stay tuned for more coverage on PBC and other boxing events by following us at EBC Sports. I am Norman Castro reporting from Brooklyn, New York, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Norman. Up next, Major Arena Soccer League news from Florida correspondents Jay ROSQUITES and Melissa Potes. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is EBC Sports International. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history inspired one Major Arena Soccer League team in Florida to provide free tickets for state, county, and city workers who were affected. Jay ROSQUITES with the story. Take a look.
What does soccer and government officials have in common? Maybe some workers play soccer as a hobby. Or maybe the children of those workers are fans of soccer. After the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history, President Donald Trump temporarily opened up some of the government agencies. However, during the shutdown, some organizations helped alleviate the condition of government workers who had been living without pay for 5 weeks. The Florida Tropics, a professional soccer club out of the Major Arena Soccer League, were one of those organizations who helped out. The Tropics organization, in their January 19th and January 26th home games, gave away over 400 tickets to government employees.
We did it for the past 2 games. The first game, there was about 160 tickets that were claimed by government employees. This game, we had over 250 tickets that were claimed by government employees. So we were really excited that, thankfully they helped us promote it a little bit so that it got in front of everyone that it needed to get in front of. But it helps to really it fills seats. We're growing a sport here. Arena soccer is obviously new to the area. We're in our 3rd season now, but our attendances are double now what they were in our 1st season. So we've seen tremendous growth, both from the corporate partnership side and the ticket sales side. So for us, we don't lose anything.
In our coverage of Major Arena Soccer League, we sought out some fan reactions to the free ticket giveaway by the Tropics organization.
It'd be a good feeling to know that somebody is actually thinking about you. It kind of reminds me of when I was in the Army. and we'd go out on deployments and we'd come back, and then people would, they'd have something going on in town, and you get to get in free or whatnot. It just lets people know that you appreciate it.
I think the Florida Tropics are, the reason they did that was because they wanted to show that, show that they were thinking about those workers that were not working, and give them a free, give them a night out, kind of get their minds off things for a while.
I mean, if I was a government worker, I was here in town, and I found out that, the company was, allowing us to come for free and enjoy something just to get a little respite from maybe just the hecticness of life and it being, crazy and worried about financial troubles, and maybe just have some place that you can bring your kids to just relax for a couple hours, I think it'd be a great thing.
The free ticket giveaway wasn't the first time it's happened. The Tropics typically give tickets to lobby for a solid fan base, particularly in the city of Lakeland.
So we always give away tickets to active military, first responders, police for every game, and veterans. We want to make sure that they're taken care of. Their lives are literally affected by what's going on and things that are outside of their control. We just saw that as an unfortunate situation. We said, hey, how can we help these people? How can we make something a little more, just brighten their day? So we said, hey, let's offer them all complimentary tickets for them and their families. They can come out to the game, and what's the point of going to a sporting event? Escape reality for a little bit. We wanted to just really offer them something and show, hey, we appreciate you. And I'm sure some of them may have been affected with the shutdown, some of them haven't, but we said, hey, we don't want to, say, hey, even if you have or haven't, we want to thank the government employees for everything that they do for us on a given day. I mean, even this center, this is run by the government. So we just wanted to make sure that they were able to come out, have a good time with their families, get away from all the drama for a couple hours, and just really enjoy them time with their families.
As for the game itself, it was truly exhilarating and fast-paced. The Tropics led the St. Louis ambush for the first 3 quarters until they allowed the game to be tied at 7 goals in the 4th quarter. However, they notched in 2 unanswered goals and escaped with the victory for their team and a victory for their fans. With the short-term reopening of the government, hundreds of thousands of employees can seek forward to getting back on their feet. As for the Tropics organization, they are still willing to help out their local community. Signing off from the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida, I'm Jay ROSQUITES, always one with 25.
Thanks, Jay. The Orlando Seawolves hand the Milwaukee Wave their first road loss of the season in Major Arena Soccer League play. Melissa Podes brings us the action. Take a look.
Coming off a strong win against the Florida Tropics, led by GORDY GURSON's 4 goals, the Orlando Seawolves look to take on divisional opponent, the Milwaukee Wave. The top team in the South Central Division of the Major Arena Soccer League, the Milwaukee Wave came into this game with a 5-0 winning road record. However, the Seawolves were ready for the challenge. Milwaukee forward Ian Bennett opened up the scoring early in the 2nd quarter, followed by 2 quick scores in succession from GORDY GURSON and Osvaldo Rojas, the 2 leading scorers for the Seawolves. Orlando would take the lead going into the half 2-1. After halftime, the Wave would make a strong push to gain momentum, but the Seawolves were able to keep the game close, tied at 3 at the end of the 3rd quarter. The Wave would take an early lead in the 4th quarter on a score from defender Marcio Leite, but this did not deter the Seawolves as they scored 4 unanswered goals in the 4th quarter to beat Milwaukee 7-4.
This is huge for the whole organization, just for a mental standpoint. Us, beating one of the top 2 teams in the league right now is just huge.
We knew what we had to do as a team, and we stayed focused all week at practice. Over and over and over again. It was repetitious, but I mean, you see what the result was. We stuck to our game plan, we stuck to what we were doing in practice, and it showed.
It's a really good win against an opponent that I think is a very, very good team. Loaded with fantastic players, great coaching staff. So for us tonight to come in, to take leads, to surrender that lead, to go behind, and then to show the character to come back to retake the lead and to finish the game off. I couldn't be anything but very pleased with my team tonight.
Reporting to you from Silver Spurs Arena, I'm Melissa Potas, and I'm always one with 25.
Thanks, Melissa. Coming up, Jessica Isidro shares tips on how to be a true football fan. That's next. EBC Sports International will return in a moment. And we're back. This is EBC Sports International. I'm Edwin Vergara. America's most watched sporting event, the Super Bowl, leaves millions of fans into a frenzy. Jessica Isidro shares with us tips on how to be a true American football fan. Take a look.
Howdy from Texas. I'm Jessica Isidro. Because football is king here in the Lone Star State, today I will be giving you tips on how to be a football fan. To become a true fan, knowing how American football works is a must. There are many ways to learn the game, such as playing football yourself, asking your family and friends to explain, or if you're like me, researching many videos online. The internet is a great resource for learning the game. When it comes to choosing a favorite team, determining factors could be family tradition or a preferred star player. Others, like myself, support their hometown team. And as a Houston, Texas native, my favorite team is pretty obvious. Wearing our favorite team's colors or logos is the best way to tell the world who you support. Visit local sports shops, department stores, or websites to find a variety of t-shirts, jerseys, swag, flags, and memorabilia to display your team pride. On my journey to becoming a football fan, I wanted to attend my very first Houston Texans game. What I noticed is that even during bad weather, the fans still came out by the thousands. Now that's true fandom. One of the highlights of being a football fan is shouting and cheering your approval or disapproval each time your team scores or loses a point. But no matter how exciting the game gets, always remember to be respectful to fans and non-fans around you. Whether you're attending a football game live or watching on TV with others, remember to have fun and let this experience be a time of excitement and bonding between you, your family, your friends, and your favorite team. Hope you enjoyed these tips. I'm Jessica Isidro from Houston, Texas, and I am one with 25.
Thanks, Jessica. That's all for EBC Sports International. Tune in next time as we bring you sports news from around the globe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews.ph. Visit our websites at eaglenews.ph and eaglenewslive.com. I'm Edwin Vergara, always one with 25.